Good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, which is going to cover building a welcome series with Firebase and the integration of Firebase into the PageSuite platform. Today we're going to showcase the PageSuite integration with Firebase, explain how you can send segmented push notifications via the Firebase console to generate a welcome series for your app users. We're going to talk about what is Firebase. So generally, what is it? What kind of tool is it? What is the Firebase cloud messaging service, which is the service they use to deliver push notifications to apps? How the messages are sent and received? How you can create audiences within your analytics using Firebase Analytics. We're going to do a little bit of a demo in the Firebase console to show you how to generate a simple notification, and then show you how to generate a welcome series of messages. So a set of messages based on audience segments, and also show how you can see reports on those notifications to see whether they've been received, how many people have received them, how many people have reacted or interacted with that message. And we'll have time for some questions at the end. So feel free to save any questions you have to the end of the presentation. So Firebase, essentially it's a Google-owned app development platform. There are lots of different services that it provides, so it can do lots and lots of different things. In terms of the way that we interact with Firebase for PageSuite, so we've integrated it with it to allow analytics, which is built in Google Analytics into Firebase, and also the cloud messaging service, which allows you to send notifications. We're also looking at performance monitoring with Firebase and some crash reporting through Firebase, which are services that we're going to look into in future development. So Firebase cloud messaging allows you to send push notifications to your app users to drive engagement, user engagement, and retention. The notifications are integrated with Google Analytics so that you can set up audience segments in Google Analytics and send push notifications to those specific audience segments. And we're going to cover that in the demo of the console. So the messages are created and sent through the Firebase console, which you can see here on the left-hand side, which allows you to enter your notification title and text, add an image if you want to. There's a really helpful device preview on the right-hand side that shows you what your notification is actually going to look like on the device. Now we're going to jump into the Firebase console demonstration, so just give me a minute to switch out of this and into that presentation. So this is the Firebase console for our demonstration application. So you can see that there's a fairly familiar Google Analytics setup here on the dashboard. It gives us some good, useful information in terms of our audience engagement. You can also see revenue if you've got your app linked up to in-app purchases, and crash reporting. So audiences can be accessed down the left-hand side menu here. And it's here where you can set up a specific audience segment. So you can see that we've already set up here a group for users who have downloaded an edition, or a group for people who have made a purchase or specifically not made a purchase, and also a group here that have been active in a recent period. And we've set this period in terms of this audience to the last 7 days. So out of all of our users, which is just over 1,000 on this demonstration app, we have 282 that have been active in the last 7 days, and that's that segment. If you wanted to add a new audience, you do so over here. It will suggest some templates or general usage, or you can create a custom audience. Then it will ask you to include users when a certain condition is met. So you can add a condition here, and you can use either the dimensions that are set up automatically through Google Analytics. So you can check through app version, city or continent, or geographical location or operating system, or you can set that up via the events. Now, these are the events that PageSuite have set up in the Firebase integration. So these are all the events that are specific to the PageSuite application. So things like edition download, edition deleted. So I'm going to set up a segment now for people who have bookmarked content. So if I select that, it will show me the membership duration. So this is how long I want to keep that segment live for people. So people who've behaved that way in the past 30 days. And this will show me, of my audience of 1,000 people, this is how many people have bookmarked content. So this segment of users who have bookmarked would be 3 people out of 1,000. So we'll call this bookmarked and add a description of users who have bookmarked content. And then if I save this, you can see that this segment gets added here. Users who have bookmarked content, less than 10 users out of our total user group. Now, the Firebase Cloud Messaging is accessed also through the left-hand menu down here. And there's a difference here between cloud messaging and in-app messaging. So cloud messaging allows you to send a standard notification or a rich media notification, in the sense of sending images in a notification as well. In-app messaging is slightly different. That allows you to send notifications or messages to people within the content of your app. And that involves a different SDK integration, which is not something that is available in the PageSuite platform at the moment. So we're going to talk about cloud messaging, which is the standard notifications you would be used to seeing on your mobile phone. So to send a new notification, you can either send a notification here, or you can do what they call creating an experiment, which essentially allows you to A/B test different notification content. So we'll look at the standard notification first. So clicking into here asks me to enter notification title. So we'll just use a very simple example here. Enter our notification text, and you can see how this is going to appear on your Android or iOS device as a notification on the device itself. You can add an image and add a name if you want to track this as a specific message that you've sent. If you click next, it'll allow you to target a user segment. Here you can select either an Android app or an iOS app. So we'll select Android. As soon as you make a selection within the user segment, it will tell you how many users are eligible to receive this notification. So it's based on the segments that exist in the Google Analytics. You can add another app here, or we can add another version or a country. Scheduling, we can send it either immediately, or if you click into this box, you can then decide to send this on a scheduled basis. So you can say that you want to send it on a Friday rather than today, and you can pick the time and also the time zone. It's also possible to send it on a recurring basis. So you can send it either every day or set a custom recurrence to repeat every so many weeks or days. So we'll say that we're going to send this tomorrow at midday, for example. Next, it will ask if we want to track specific conversion events. So if you have conversion events set up within Google Analytics, you can set these as goals for the notification. For instance, you might be looking to increase in-app purchases, or in fact, just get people to open the app for the first time. And then there are additional options here around when to expire the message and any custom data that you want to send. We don't have any of those at the present time. We then review the message. It will tell you the notification content, who you're looking for, and when you're planning to send it. So that is how you set up a very, very basic push notification message via Firebase. So we'll save that as a draft. And then I'll show you how to create an experiment. So here you can enter an experiment name. So let's just call it an A/B test. You can add in your description. Again, you target your app. Here, you can put in your variants. So you can send a variant to one group, another group, and a control group. So a control group is a group that you may not decide to send a message to at all. Then you could set your variant A and variant B. So we could perhaps send one that says, again, you can select a goal message, goal. So here you get a few more events that are possible out of objectives. So you can look to see how many people each variant retains after a certain period. So if you send this message to group A, are they still around 3 days later versus group B, etc. And then the message options down here are sending are the same as previous. So you can schedule a send, you can send that to immediately if you choose to. So that's how to send an experiment or an A/B test notification, and also a basic notification as we covered before. Now we're going to look at sending a segmented notification. So we're going to look at sending one that is to non-engaged app users. So these are people who haven't used the app within the past 7 days. So set the title. Say puzzles available in the app. We'll call this one puzzles. We're going to target the iOS application, and we want to select our audience of people who have not been recently active. So does not include all of recently active users. That will send this notification to anyone who hasn't been active within the app in the past 7 days. And again, you can set your scheduling, so you can send it either now or on a scheduled basis, or set it up as a recurring notification. So again, we'll save this one as a draft. And we'll create another one here. So now we're going to look to set up a notification for people who have downloaded but not subscribed. So we're going to call this Subscribe to access your additions and puzzles, and we're going to call this subscription so that we can follow how well this is performed. So we go to next, we can again target the iOS application, and as this is people who have downloaded but not subscribed, we want to select the audience of that does not include all of purchasers, so they would be people who subscribed, and then another audience segment that includes everyone who has downloaded an edition. So that sets up our audience segment for this to be anyone who has not purchased, has not purchased, but who has downloaded an edition. And you'll see that because of the time setting, so because this is stopped after 30 days, there aren't actually any users at all in this segment right now. But every 30 days, the segment will check and add people to that group in order to be able to send it. And then the final segment we're going to set up is, I'll just save this one as draft as well, and create another notification. So this is for users who have not accessed the latest edition. So we'll call this excuse me. And then let's call this one edition. And again, we'll target our iOS application, and we'll include the audience of that does not include anyone who has downloaded an edition. So you'll see that almost everyone is in that set for this demonstration application. We'll also save that one as a draft as well. Now, in terms of reporting on notifications, you can see a basic level of notification reporting for each notification that has been sent. It will tell you when the notification was sent, how many people it was sent to, how many people opened it, and how many conversions there were if you had set a conversion event, as we just looked at before. You can also see overall reporting. And this will show you of all of the notifications you've sent, how many sends, how many people have received them, impressions that they've generated, and the number of counts people have opened the message themselves. And you can export any of this data via a CSV. So that is the Firebase console demonstration, and shows you how to set up audience segments and send segmented notifications to those audiences. So. That's the end of the demonstration. Does anyone have any questions? There's a couple in the Q&A here that I'll go through. So there's a question here, is it all as standard? So in the latest version of the product, yes, this is all standard. So the Firebase integration is standard, and all of that segmentation is standard. So we're in the process right now of adding additional events to Firebase, so you can create more segments and then send those out. But yes, it is standard in the latest version of the product. I have another question. So is it possible to link a notification to a specific area of the app? And also from Simon, any option to apply deep links? So essentially those two things are the same. So we are in the process right now, and it should be live by the end of the month, of integrating deep links with the platform integration. So you will be able to send a notification that has deep links, or what Firebase refer to as dynamic links. So they can link you to any part of the app, so to an edition or to the puzzles or to a specific article. And they're dynamic in the sense that they will persist through the install process. So you can set them up to say, I'd like the person who clicks on this link to open in the website or in the app. And if they open in the app, to go through the install process and still open up on that specific article. So from Chris, in terms of active option in targeting, can you extend that variable to 1 month? So I think it's any time period can be set. So I think it defaults to days, and 30 days is the default option, but you can extend that to beyond 30 days or less than 30 days if you want to set a very small target. And also from Chris, can you post links within the pushes to link out to an external website? So yes, you can. You can use dynamic links in the same way we were talking about deep links. Include a URL or a short URL within the notification, and then you can set within the dynamic link whether you would like the person reacting to that link to either go to the website or go into the application itself. And then one final question, which is there any limitation on the number of notifications you can send? So there's no limitation on the amount of sends. You can do unlimited sends through the Firebase console. Obviously, the only thing to be wary of is people get very tired of notifications if you send too many. So I wouldn't recommend, as a publisher, sending more notifications than the publishing frequency you have. So if you're a daily newspaper, a daily notification, weekly on a weekly, or perhaps if you have live or breaking news or specific very targeted notifications, send more. But people can get quite tired of notifications if you do send too many. Okay, that's the end of all the questions. Thank you very much for attending. I hope it's been useful. Oh, sorry, there is one more question. Is it possible, from Emily, is it possible use case to send a notification to subscribers who are expiring within a certain time frame? It would be possible to do that if you had that audience segment set up. So in order to do that, I think we'd need to do some custom work with Google Analytics to be able to identify any users who were about to expire or had potential for churn. So if we could set up that segment within Google Analytics, which I would imagine is possible, then you would be able to send that notification out to try and encourage a renewal. Okay, well, thanks very much for your questions. Thanks very much for your attention. I hope it's been useful. We will send out the slides and a recording of the webinar. So hopefully it's been useful, and thanks very much for your time.